This week, Siskel and Ebert review ad man Danny DeVito motivating Army misfits in Renaissance Man. Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland rope in some New York mobsters, The Cowboy Way. And John Goodman heads a modern Stone Age family called the Flintstones.
Bill Pickett, he was a cowboy in the Old West. He pretty much invented bulldogging. Black man, like me.
Who told you that?
It's true.
Hey, Johnny, you hear that? He thinks some old black cowboy invented bulldogging.
That'd be Bill Pickett, Pepper.
Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland play rodeo cowboys hot on the trail of a killer in New York City in The Cowboy Way. One of 5 big, really big summer movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, including The Flintstones and Beverly Hills Cop 3. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is The Cowboy Way, and this is easily one of the silliest and least necessary movies of the summer. An awkwardly concocted story about cowboys in Manhattan battling with an evil gang of sweatshop operators. The cowboy buddies are played here by Kiefer Sutherland as the more responsible partner, and Woody Harrelson as his uncouth and somewhat dim-witted rodeo sidekick.
Don't really matter. First thing in the morning, we make our way over to the police station. Let them handle this. That's what they get paid for.
It's little secret. We don't tell her right now. No, it's little surprise.
What do you think?
I was looking at that.
Jesus, Pepper.
The villains in big city crime movies are usually drug dealers these days, but not this time, as Dylan McDermott exploits illegal aliens in a sweatshop.
You steal from me, and then you lie to me about it in my face! Did you take my money? Did you? Yes!
Oh, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. Now, you pay me back, and I won't add the amount to your debt.
The movie wastes a lot of its time showing the cowpokes in high society settings, like here where Harrelson teaches a hostess how to drink tequila New Mexico style.
You get the shiver. And I get the shot.
I guess you could call The Cowboy Way a cross between Midnight Cowboy and Coogan's Bluff, but that would be an insult to 2 much better pictures. One of the problems I had with this movie was that I could never for one moment believe the preposterous plot. I also got tired of all the scenes that had no other purpose than allowing Woody Harrelson to play with the natives. And during the final big chase scene, all I could think of was, for 2 guys who've only been in Manhattan for 48 hours, these cowboys have sure learned their way around town so well they can outrun subway trains on horseback.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad you fingered Woody Harrelson out, because I think he really does overact in this film. I think he's been a very likable actor, and White Men Can't Jump, but not here. I think he's way over the top. Kiefer Sutherland is the only quiet presence.
He's the repository of sanity in the middle of this mess.
Yes, and it really is a mess. First of all, the villains are not interesting at all, and you need good villains in a picture like this. And second, why write the cowboys as juvenile characters? Why not write them as smart guys? All right, they're cowboys, but smart enough to meet interesting people in New York City while they're there and deal with it on their own level. Show their native smartness. I mean, the picture is written at about a 10-year-old level.
Oh, and for example, their friendship with that mounted policeman, Ernie Hudson. He rides up on a horse, sees them camping out in Central Park, gets into a conversation with him, and then always magically seems to turn up wherever in Manhattan they need him, and he completely forgets any police laws and rules and regulations in order to take them wherever they want to go on the back of his horse.
Make him a tough cop rather than a convenient cop for the story. And then the trash stuff with the lady with the tequila, I mean, it's just, it feels stupid.
It was a dumb movie.
Okay. Now our next movie, and we're staying pretty dumb. It's Beverly Hills Cop 3, and in a word, I think it's dreadful. And it's kind of sad to watch because Eddie Murphy is this giant-sized talent who continues to select one bad script after another. What a waste. Once again, he plays smart aleck Detroit cop Axel Foley, although he's so laid back in this picture, it's hard to imagine what made him so exciting in the original film. Here, Murphy lays out the premise of the story to his old West Coast partner, played by Judge Reinhold, and Reinhold's colleague, Hector Elizondo.
I'm looking for a killer. In Beverly Hills? No, Wonderworld. Wonderworld? You mean Rufus Rabbit has gone berserko? No, my boss got gunned down in the chop shop.
Once Murphy is out in California at an amusement park chasing cop killers, Beverly Hills Cop 3 really gets dull. The only spark of interest, a brief romantic interlude with a park security employee played by Teresa Randall.
All park accesses are unrestricted to park personnel. Well, except for the Happy Forest. Now, that's closed while it's being redone.
Show me the Happy Forest.
Oh, that would be right here at the end of Corridor B. It's right after,
How long's it been closed?
Too long.
I'm talking about the Happy Forest ride.
Eddie Murphy is absolutely restrained in Beverly Hills Cop 3. I think there has been a decision in his camp or in his mind that he should present himself now as a kinder, gentler character when what everybody wants from him is the smart aleck or the romantic lead. All of the excitement has gone out of this series. Murphy does not help himself working, I think, with John Landis, a tired director, judging from this effort. Eddie Murphy needs to take his movie career more seriously. And boy, we've both been saying that for years.
Yeah, although it's odd that he's a little more gentle here because after all, in Beverly Hills Cop 2, we accused him of being too over the top in the other direction. So maybe he could say, gee, I can't get it quite right for you guys.
Yes, he can't.
Yes, he can. Okay.
Yes, he can.
One thing that I didn't like, it's like a video game, especially in the shootout in the amusement park. People pop up, they get shot, they fall over. You completely lose track of how many bad guys there are.
The thing that bothers me was the whole decision to put it in the amusement park. They have it this juvenile amusement park, and as a result, it is very soft, and it is not funny to see Eddie Murphy with the, you know, the costume characters.
And of course, it really makes sense that counterfeiters would hide their press inside a tree in an amusement park, doesn't it? When we come back, Danny DeVito goes to basic training as a teacher in Renaissance Man.
I've never taught before, and you've never thought before. So, good luck to all of us.
Now, why don't you tell me what you'd be willing to do?
If you give me a check, I'd be willing to cash it.
Danny DeVito plays an unemployed advertising man there in a scene from Renaissance Man, and this is the new movie directed by Penny Marshall, who after hits like Big, Awakenings, and A League of Their Own, has completely lost her touch, I'm afraid, this time. In the movie, DeVito is fired from an ad agency, applies for unemployment compensation, and is offered a job as a teacher, not in high school, not in college, but in the Army.
Looking for Captain Murdoch?
Yeah.
The AEC is building 2310. You want building 4475. Here's what you do. You go right here, take another right at the PX. Go half a click till you see the DPTM center. Then take a left.
PX.
If you hit the RFPC, you've gone too far.
DeVito was given a class of 8 underachievers and told to teach them basic comprehension, whatever that means. So he starts them out on Shakespeare, and after initial reluctance, they began to relate to Hamlet so much that, wow, they produced their own classroom rap version of the play.
To be or not to be, the double DMCs is letting it be. Let be to be or not to be, the double DMCs is letting it be.
From the moment we see the camp's so-called Victory Tower, a challenging obstacle course, it's obvious and inevitable that DeVito will have to climb it.
First thing, don't look down.
Bill, what the hell you doing?
I told you not to look down. Everybody looks down when you tell them not to look down. You know that?
The elements in Renaissance Man are all painfully sincere, but the movie is amazingly bad. Not a single moment rings true. The screenplay was obviously made by cross-pollinating Dead Poets Society, which was about an inspirational teacher, and Private Benjamin, which was about a fish out of water in basic training. The result is an embarrassment from beginning to end, a labored, contrived, unconvincing movie that never even manages to answer such questions as, even if they do like Hamlet, what does that have to do with basic training? Renaissance Man is a terrible example of what happens when formulas are recycled without any understanding of why they worked in the first place.
Well, this is going to shock you, but I enjoyed some of it. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I'm shocked.
Good. What I liked was that DeVito seemed to be enjoying. If you watch this picture closely, I know you'll never see it again, but if you watched it closely, you would see how much he was enjoying being with those young recruits. And there were times when I was watching him where he almost cracked up. And I realized that there was a lot of good feeling in that classroom with them as they went on this ridiculous enterprise. And you're right, I mean, what does Hamlet have to do with basic training except to give these kids self-confidence in their minds, I suppose. It's the same thing with the tower in his mind, self-confidence. And on that basis of the goodwill when they're all together, I like the picture.
Well, you've mentioned the only part of the picture that I did like.
They have a lot of fun in that classroom.
Danny DeVito is one of the most likable actors.
Yes, he is.
That we have in the movies, and it's almost impossible for him to inhabit a character that you don't like and that you don't identify with. What I really objected to was just one logical impossibility and consistency after another, right down to the end where they have all that stuff about the final exam, and you know, if they don't have to take an exam, but if they do and they flunk it, then they drop out of basic training. I'm trying to figure that out. You know?
That's not the best part of the picture. The best part of the picture is that young cast of recruits. I think there's some fresh, good faces in that picture. They have boys from the hood and boys from the hills, and I think there was an interesting group of young actors, and some good stars will come out of it.
Okay, coming up next, our review of the Flintstones. You might have heard of this movie, but not from us until now.
Not at all. Fred, I'd like you to meet your new secretary, Miss Sharon Stone.
My secretary? And that, of course, is John Goodman as Fred Flintstone in the Flintstones. And boy, I really didn't like this picture. I mean, it looks great, but these characters in this story, what a crushing bore. Reportedly, there were 32 writers assigned over the years to this script. I've got news for you. They needed at least 33. More attention has been paid to the gadgets in this film than to the lead characters, like this prehistoric garbage disposal.
Why throw good money down the drain? There's nothing wrong with this one. All right, you. Say Aha! There's your problem right there.
Elizabeth Perkins is particularly boring, I think, as Wilma Flintstone. Also dull, Rosie O'Donnell as Betty Rubble.
Wilma, how did you get rid of the ring around the collar? I just started washing Fred's neck.
To be sure, the film looks great. I mean, this is a fabulous-looking prehistoric bowling alley. But get a load of how dull Barney, Rick Moranis, is with Fred. He makes a strike, and they hug. So what? That was my reaction constantly while watching this picture. So what to its deadly dull story? All of the invention went into the film's production design and to its omnipresent marketing campaign. In fact, I'd rather have 7 of those McDonald's souvenir glasses than pay the $7 to see the Flintstones.
Well, I was disappointed in it too, and I agree with you. It's a great-looking production.
Yes.
But why, you know, sure, it's a family movie, but in particular, I think it's a movie that kids might go to.
Right.
And what do kids care about? Office politics, hanky-panky with the secretary, adoption problems, mother-in-law problems, embezzlement. Kids don't know what embezzlement is. This entire plot is like some kind of a grown-up office politics movie that has nothing to do with the Flintstones.
It was, you could tell that it started in the 80s, the late 80s, you know, the evil businessman. But who is this picture intended for? You're absolutely right. Make it young, make it charming, or make it smart and old like they did with Wayne's World or Goofy. You know, the Wayne's World adaptation from TV to film is one of the classics of this new big genre.
This is one of the one of the dogs. Okay, coming up next, Keanu Reeves stars in the latest film from Bernardo Bertolucci. It's called Little Buddha. Bertolucci, the director of The Last Emperor, a great film about a small child who's given the power to rule a nation. Now his new film, named Little Buddha, develops a similar theme. Buddhist monks from Tibet are searching the earth for the reincarnation of their dead teacher and think they may have found him in a little boy growing up in Seattle. But the boy's mother, played here by Bridget Fonda, is not so sure what she thinks about the notion that her son is seen in this light.
On what day your son was born?
On March 1st.
Wonderful. And at what hour?
In the morning, very early, 6:30.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. 6:30, very special, very special.
Well, I don't know about that.
Nevertheless, after initial reservations, the boy's father, played by Chris Isaac, takes him to visit other monks in Bhutan so that his identity can be studied.
My teacher, I'm so happy to have found you at last.
Meanwhile, the film intercuts its modern story with one set in 500 BC, where Prince Siddhartha, later to become the Buddha, is played by Keanu Reeves. Unfortunately, neither the modern story nor the historic story really works in Little Buddha. The movie is hardly convincing in showing how modern parents in America might react to the news that their son may be a reincarnated Buddhist monk. And the ancient story is so simplistic and picturesque, it seems more like a child's religious tale or one of those comic books they hand you in the airport than real religious history. Little Buddha is long, slow, shallow, and very boring.
Not for me. First of all, I know we'll agree on this thing. It is a gorgeous looking picture. You have the greatest...
Oh, Vittorio Storaro shot
You have one of the greatest cinematographers.
But on the other hand, he shot all of the modern stuff real gray and blue and cold, and all of the historic stuff real red and orange, and that becomes, after a while, such a formula.
Well, it's a style, and I happen to like it.
Okay.
But I will tell you that I like this picture on the Gestalt overview sense in this way.
Okay.
Because I felt that what this film at its basic core is about is saying that there is this other way of life, and it's called Buddhism, and here are the people that embody it, the monks that come to this city, and here is the way we normally live. And there are two alternative worlds, and Roger, wait a second, let me just finish. And in showing that, there is a, and I'm going to be very simple-minded about this, there is
you have to be with this movie.
That's right. That's right. This is pitched, I think, at a children's view. That's why it is like a children's story, the other section. And I think that it is, you look at these monks and you say there is something there that transmits from the screen about their way of life that is very, very appealing.
Well, Gene, with all due respect, I think there's a great deal more to Buddhism than this movie suggests, because this movie is extremely superficial and cliched, and they get those three little kids over there and they're all playing with each other, and
I don't know about the little contest.
Nothing in the modern world was convincing, and nothing in the ancient world was interesting. I didn't believe, you know, Keanu Reeves sitting under the tree for 7 years, covered with mud, growing his hair long. What was that all about? I mean, I never really felt any spirituality from him. It was more like some kind of a...
I think that he is as surprised, and I think this is one of the great, you know, the great religious leaders, I don't think knew what was happening to them as they were being transformed.
Well, this one certainly didn't.
No, and I think, but are they supposed to? Are they supposed to come out of the world?
I defy you to find very many people who wouldn't be bored by this movie. I'm glad that you were able to find something in it.
Good. Coming up next, our video pick of the week. To my mind, one of the finest films of last year, just out now on home video. Pick of the week features the latest effort by one of the truly great American filmmakers. Few directors in the world today are working at the level of director Robert Altman right now, who with his last two pictures, The Player and Shortcuts, manages to fix in time two very different portraits of Los Angeles in the 90s. With Shortcuts, just out now on tape and Laserdisc, Altman interweaves 24 characters, most of whom are battling loneliness and emptiness.
He's all I've got. I need company.
We're addicted to addiction.
Honey, yesterday I hit a kid.
What?
I hit an 8-year-old kid.
Shortcuts is very loosely based on the writings of Raymond Carver, including a very odd, bleak story about a baker, Lyle Lovett, who gets angry at a couple of parents who haven't picked up their son's birthday cake.
My son is dead. He is dead, Mr. Dick Cower. He was hit by a car the day I came in here to order the cake. We have been waiting with him until he died. And now he is dead. There are no more birthdays.
Yes, Shortcuts is odd and depressing. It's certainly lifelike in that way, and yet as more and more of these stories unfolded, the more I began to admire these characters for slugging their way through life. Robert Altman's Shortcuts, my video pick of the week. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs down on The Cowboy Way. Potentially interesting characters are mired in a dismal juvenile plot. 2 thumbs down, way down for Beverly Hills Cop 3, another dreary effort from Eddie Murphy. Come on, Eddie, try harder. We split on Renaissance Man with Danny DeVito teaching Army dunderhead Shakespeare. I think he's funny, and so are the recruits, but Roger feels director Penny Marshall has lost her way. 2 thumbs down for the Flintstones. The creativity on this picture stopped with the production design and the marketing campaign. And finally, a split vote on Bernardo Bertolucci's Little Buddha, which I found to be a fascinating meditation on Buddhism. Roger found it to be an unbelievable mess. So I'm the only one that liked anything this week. Renaissance Man and Little Buddha.
People should watch Shortcuts. Okay, that's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with reviews of The Lion King, which is the latest Disney animated feature, and City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold, starring Billy Crystal and Jack Palance, and a sequel to the comedy about dudes on the range. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.